I'm joined by several members from my team at the DOE as well. I see the superintendent on, and a number of our folks centrally as well. A couple of our deputy chancellors, our head of family and community engagement. We got a great team that's here. I said I'm just going to be very brief and just say, I've spoken to a whole host of parent organizations, CECs, all across the city. And it's just been great having an opportunity to hear from our folks and our parents, our community members. That means a lot to me as we try to work together to shape a way forward for our system. I think I visited about 40 schools now in the 4 months that I've been here. And I mean, all across the city, Staten Island, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx. I was out in Bayside, Queens today. I visited an early childhood center and then went upstairs and had a gathering of, 50, 60 young men, probably more than that, from Progress High School together with Academy. And it was at the Grand Street campus in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was just great. It's been great. This whole journey has been wonderful. Learning and being up close with all of our folks, our kids, our teachers, parents, everybody. So just know that in me, you have a chancellor who is paying attention, who cares deeply about these issues. And the issues are plentiful that we have to deal with. But I also know that there are a lot of great things that are going on in our schools as well. And the tendency to just spend all of our time talking about what's wrong with the system. And when you do that and you don't make time to talk about what's right, we can be lulled into a place and space where we think that there's nothing that's right and that all we have are problems. And that is not true. And I can tell you, I have visited these schools. I have seen wonderful and amazing things that are happening. And in fact, it is those amazing, wonderful things that are also going to be part of the transformation that helps us make the system better. Great schools, great school leaders, great places with parent engagement. I visited a school in Bayside, Queens yesterday, PS 46. And they are one of the only schools, I think, that have won a national blue ribbon twice, 2013 and 2020. And I said, my God, if every school operated like this school, the system would be phenomenal. It was an incredible place. And 25% of the students are special needs. By far outsurpassing any other school district in terms of the numbers and percentages of special needs kids. So listen, there's a lot of good things that are happening out there. I'm letting our school folks know that those that are getting it right, we need them. We need them to help share what they have learned with the other schools, which are working really hard to get it right. And at the DOE, at Central, and our central offices, we've got great people, but we're not necessarily producing the kinds of results that we should produce with a budget this large and people this smart. So I'm working hard to make sure we're aligning our best efforts in doing that. One of the things I think that is really kind of hot off the press that's happening is the fact that, we've had every superintendent across the city reapply for their jobs if they're interested. We had 4 times as many people as we thought that were going to apply for those positions. And it's been great. It's been a great process. We've got a full team led by Dr. Desmond Blackburn, our Deputy Chancellor for leadership, who've been engaging these leaders. And now it's going to the community. And we're going to have the CECs are going to be playing a very big role in vetting these folks, talking to folks, and getting a sense around who would be the best fit for the particular community. So I'm excited about it. We should wrap it up by the middle of June, and we should know who the superintendents are going to be for us as we go into the summer and to next school year. And we're going to spend a lot of time ensuring that those folks have everything that they need to be supportive to our schools, to our principals. And I'm also going to provide a level of autonomy for principals who are really getting it right. and don't need somebody to hold their hand. So excited about all the possibilities, and all these things that we're doing are a direct result of what we're hearing from the community, from our schools, from our students themselves, about how we should reimagine an educational experience for them. So with that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'd love to hear from those who have showed up here tonight to be in conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Spencer, you got that list that I shared with you for the members to introduce themselves?
Yes, sir. So have you seen our student member? We want to lead off with her, but she may have some challenges.
I am actually working on it. I don't see her on right now. I'm working on it.
Okay. So Aisha Husbands, our Brooklyn Representatives and Safety Committee Chair, is next. Aisha, you there?
Hi, actually, I'm Christy Angel, and I'm going to read Councilmember Husband's question off, if that's okay with everyone.
Go ahead. Thanks, Christy.
You're more than welcome. Good evening, Mr. Banks. The question that is presented is specifically, what are you committed to in regard to helping our transitioning students who are not college bound move on to be more productive adults?
You know, that's one of the things that we have been very focused on. I've got 4 pillars that really undergird everything that we're trying to do. And one of those pillars is around reimagining the student experience. Now, within that pillar, there are a bunch of things that we're doing. But it really does lead with creating career pathways for kids. And so what does that mean? That means whether it's career and technical education, creating internship opportunities for our kids, particularly at the high school level, to have real world experiences that prepare them for real opportunities after they get out of high school. We're sending way too many of our kids to school without any clear post-secondary plan. You know, they just go to school. I want kids to have real hands-on experiences. I want them to get credentials while they're in high school that will put them on a path to employment opportunities, even if they decide not to go to college. There's a lot of research that says that even if the kids go to college, when they've had career pathway experiences while they're in high school, they do even better than in college than if they did not. And so what does that mean? That means how do you put young people in a position to intern and get jobs working with investment banks, where they may have never heard, even know, what it would be to be an investment banker. Investment bankers make millions of dollars. I want to put you in a position to understand what that is, so you know why we need you to work so hard in school. I want you to also be exposed, if you have interest, in some of the technical trades like electrician and carpeting and plumbing. These positions are not your grandfather's CTE. When I was a kid, they tell all the white kids, we want you to go to college, and they tell the black and brown kids, go do something with your hands. This is a very different world that we live in today. You have opportunities to take some of these jobs and come out of high school, $75,000, $100,000. You can get right off of mommy and daddy's payroll and go do something that's real. Even if you decide you want to go to college, some of these companies will pay for you to go to college while you're still working and earning an income. That's what I mean. We have graduated far too many kids who are not doing either. They're not going to college. Many of them go to college for a year or two. They come back full of debt and didn't even graduate. And then they don't even have the skills to go and get any of these other really productive jobs. I have been meeting with corporate CEOs all over the city who said, we have high-end jobs that are available. I need you to produce young people that can take some of these jobs. Otherwise, the jobs go overseas. So we need to graduate kids from the New York City public schools who can do some real stuff. And I will tell you, the kids themselves would be so excited about doing it, because many of them are disengaged. They're not excited. They're in school. They're just going through the motions of going to school. So the career pathways work is a body of work that I'm really excited about. We're going to be making some major announcements. We got, Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan Chase is signed on to work with us and provide thousands of opportunities for our kids. We're talking to to corporate leaders all over the city. It's going to be just really exciting work. And I can't wait to get started with it. We've got a whole team that's been planning this stuff now since I came into office. And you'll be hearing more about it in the coming days and weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor.
Thank you.
So we are here from Ms. 1 hour borough appointee, Ms. Jewett, Ms. Patricia Jewett.
Good evening and welcome. I was just listening to what you were saying about the transition. And I just wanted to ask you, are you thinking about our population when you think about these possibilities?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, and
Because
that's
I'm-
one of the things I think, you know, our D75 kids, a lot of times they get left on the back burner. And in fact, these are the kinds of opportunities that make the most sense. They're hands-on. It's real world stuff. I was at Rikers Island, I don't know, a month and a half ago. And I had kids at Rikers who were like learning HVAC stuff and all of these technical things that they were getting credentials and certifications so that when they get out, they can get a real job. And I asked the kids, I said, what, you know, why, how did you wind up here? And each one of them told me that, you know, they were like, school was whack. It was whack. I'm just saying what they said. You're boring. We were just going to school. We weren't, the things that we were learning, they weren't relevant to anything that I was doing. And so half the time I didn't go to school. And one young man said, if I was learning stuff like this, I would have been going to school every day. If I was learning something, what he meant was if I was learning something real. And so even with our D75 students, to the degree that we give them hands-on opportunities, that's how you learn in deeper ways. And that's what I'm committed to for all of our kids.
I
Chancellor,
appreciate that.
let me just add quickly, and I think I shared that with our district leadership team this morning. I was at one of our schools in the city, Lower Manhattan, 4th Street, where we were meeting with Uniqlo, which is a big organization having many stores across the country. And the owner and CEO was there. He traveled from Japan just to come into the school to recognize and celebrate the achievement of one of our students, and presented him with a check of $20,000. And this young man has done such great work. We have a great partnership with them. We have students learning vocational skills in their stores. And we have a very robust work-based learning program that we are starting again because of the pandemic. We were, reconnecting with our partners, but we definitely have a very good work-based learning program, and our families here do know that as well. So that is one example of something that happened this morning.
That's great. So our superintendent,
I would just like
that's what we're talking about. Yep.
I would just like to end my comments by saying we all know that regression is real and that the recovery programs are very essential. And therefore, I would just like to ask you to do what you can to assist us in making sure that our students, our population, gets the transportation that they need to participate fully and be fully engaged in these programs. And I agree with hands-on. I came from a vocational school, so I understand hands-on. And I have a child that graduated from District 75, and she's a full-time student in college. So I would like to see all avenues presented to our children when it comes to transition.
I appreciate
Thank you so
that.
much.
Thank you so much. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's the work that we have to do. I'm not trying to leave anybody behind. Some of this is vocational, some of it is not. Some of this is kids just being fully exposed to, the fintech industry, biotech industry. I mean, it's a wide range of opportunities. The bigger issue is that how do we continue to provide great opportunities for our kids, no matter what it is that they decide that they want to do? They may want to be a dancer, right? I don't want you to just dream about being a dancer. I want to put you in a position where you get some real exposure. Go to the Dance Theater Harlem. We create some opportunities for you to really learn. The fact that we take kids through school from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and many kids never get a real opportunity to understand what the real world actually looks like. The real world is not the four walls of your school. I want to transform that, and it's going to take time to do it. So we're going to roll it out as best we can with as many schools as we can, and then continue to work to build that. But I'm telling you, this is what kids have said. And so if you're D75 and there's some transportation issues, that's our job, is to make sure that those issues are not barriers for you to have real opportunities. And so we just know that we're committed to making sure that we do all the things that we need to do. All of these things do not happen overnight. It's a big system. But what I'm saying is there's a vision and there's a plan. And as we work to get there, we constantly monitor that plan to make sure that it's working. And you do that by listening and being engaged and not acting like we have all of the answers. But these things that we're doing, like even career pathways, are things that we are doing that because that's where we've heard from families. We've heard that from students. You know, I mean, so it's not like I just came in and said, this is what I'm trying to do, and I want everybody to agree with me. Quite to the contrary. All of these are things that are a result of being engaged with the community and hearing from the community. And every community around the city, just so you all know, does not think the same on every issue. It's funny, people say to me all the time, you got to engage the parents. That's why the parents have 100 different opinions. They don't all, there's not a monolithic approach to this stuff. Everybody doesn't say the same exact thing. So the goal is to listen as comprehensively as we can and try to make the best decisions that we possibly can for the vast majority of folks, and try to do that. So doing our best.
With that being said, Mr. Chancellor, we're gonna hear from our next person, Miss Christy Montemar, who come from Staten Island. Miss Montemar.
Good evening, Chancellor.
Evening.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Ms. Jewett said, you know, that our children have suffered so much regression during the pandemic. And, you know, there's the DOE is doing a lot right now to try and solve that with these programs like recovery services and summer rising, which I think are great programs. I just, as a D75 parent, I would like to see more done to make those programs accessible for our District 75 students. And that kind of goes with what Ms. Jewett was saying about the transportation issues and things like that. You know, they're great programs, but we kind of need more individualization so that our District 75 students can take advantage of these programs like all of their peers in education.
Listen, I thank you for that. I thank you for the question. It's a comment, and I thank you for that because those are the kinds of things that I need to hear. Because if kids are not able to be in a position to take advantage of different opportunities because of issues like transportation, that's the reason why a Department of Education exists in the first place. It exists to eliminate those barriers for access. That's what we should be doing. And so I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I appreciate that. And just know that we're hard at work on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy M. So we do have our student member. She just joined, but we make sure she's ready. So I want to go on to the next member on our list, and it's Ms. Joanne Jones. Joanne, you're up. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chancellor. I'm so happy to spend this time with you. So in realm of what you're saying around the career pathways and the 4 pillars, I would love to hear more about that. But my question is specifically in line with what we're discussing. I am a proud parent of a 19-year-old D75 student, which struggles with some of the basics around digital literacy, reading and writing fundamentals. And I'm wondering, in lieu with all the career pathways, is there or is there in the works around things that will be focused on reading, writing, speaking, public speaking, those type of things that, some of the services that he has from his IUP doesn't offer. Those are the kind of things, because if you can't read and write, how are you going to have a career? So that's the
Absolutely.
question.
So, and I appreciate you asking that question as well. It ties right into everything that we've been focused on. We said we want our kids to have bright starts and bold futures. The bold futures is the career pathways work. Those are the opportunities that happen at the end of the run. But at the beginning of the run, if you're not building strong literacy foundations for our kids, if you don't learn to read and write well and speak well, it makes it very difficult for you to take advantage of these opportunities on the other end of the spectrum. And so we're doing that. I want to just, as at this time, our Deputy Chancellor for Teaching and Learning Opportunities, Carolyn Quintana, is here. I want to ask you to, if you can, just to lean in and respond to that. And Christina Fauci, if you find that there's something else you want to add in as well, please do that at this time.
Thank you, Chancellor. And thank you for that question. And actually incredibly important, right? Part of not only reimagining the student experience, but setting students up for success in the world is making sure that literacy is a priority, that they have a strong phonics background, and that that the instruction that we provide is grounded in science and research, so that our kids leave well equipped. And we know that reading is a game changer, right? Reading is the difference between being able to navigate the world independently and not. And so we want to make sure that all of our students have a really strong literacy foundation. And then we're also thinking about how we make learning relevant and career connected, purposeful, civics minded, right? All of those other things that the Chancellor was talking about. And so part of what we're doing to address the reading instruction is making sure that across our schools, we are bringing and asking schools to implement, and we'll provide training, obviously, for standalone foundational phonics curricula. So we want to make sure that there's systematic, direct, and explicit instruction on the mechanics of reading, on what it actually means for the brain and the body to do the actual act of reading, right? And then once we have those foundational skills down that are grounded in phonics and the science of reading, then we can move on to really making sure that students are thinking critically, that we're practicing great writing. And I think I even heard you say, really navigating even digital literacy, thinking about literacy in the larger realm as well. We currently have programs that exist across our schools. And so we have iRead in some of our schools as an instructional model where there's a very specific teaching team that supports both individualized and small group instruction. We have schools that are using Spire, which is one of our programs that offers individualized reading instruction. And then we also have opportunities for students to be in smaller classes with those types of programs. We also have coaching across our schools so that our teachers are learning how to teach foundational reading. And that's something that in the coming year, we're actually going to amplify. Right now, we only have it in select grades and in very select schools. And so we're going to make sure that there's coaching available K through 12 so that our teachers have the foundational knowledge to help students through that literacy piece. And so, like the Chancellor said earlier, it's, we're a really big system and we have to start somewhere. And so obviously all of those changes won't be made right away. But we are absolutely making sure that our teachers get the training before the school year begins, and we'll make sure that all of our schools have the right foundational curriculum in place, the phonics curriculum that goes along with the literacy and writing curriculum, so that at the very least, everyone is starting from the same foundational place. And in terms of our D75 schools, depending on where our students are in terms of those levels, what are the programs that we either already have in place or can bring in to offer that foundational instructional model for the reading skills instruction. So I don't know, Christina, if you want to add something to that or maybe just.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, Deputy Chancellor. Good evening, all. Good evening, Chancellor. Good evening, Deputy Chancellors. And good evening to our council. I would just add that when you've heard the Chancellor and the Deputy Chancellor talk about meeting the needs for all, and I just want to really lift that when they say all, they mean all. And the Chancellor visited 177Q earlier in the year and got to see firsthand And got to see firsthand the
Ah.
vocational kids engaged in vocational opportunities. Got to see them working their store. I think we're struggling with mute, but he got to see them playing in their band. The chancellor got to see them. He was interviewed by journalists, and if I could have taken a picture of his smile in that moment, being interviewed by our District 75 students, I would be showing it to you right now because it's forever left an impression in my brain. And so he got to see firsthand some of the amazing career opportunities. And the same is true for our Deputy Chancellor Quintana. She just spent a significant time learning about print-based disabilities recently, not only at a conference, but I am watching her engage with so many experts in print-based disability. And all of that work is going to carry over to our District 75 programs. So there's, one of our slogans is nothing about us without us. And this administration is really living that day in and day out. And it's a team I am incredibly proud to be part of. And Chancellor, I just want to lift one thing about this council. This council, I know you're getting a chance to see it today, Chancellor, but they are incredible. And what has stuck with me about this council is that they never just take care of themselves. They take care of everybody around them and themselves. And during the pandemic, when everybody was struggling, they were out making deliveries to families in need. They were out when a D75 family had a really upsetting and tragic fire. This council was out delivering supplies. This council, they take care of their children, but they also take care of the community at large, and definitely hold a very special place in my heart.
Wow, that's a beautiful, that's beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. This is very helpful. I will definitely move forward and see if I can tap into some of these resources with my son's school, his principal, and some of the student body. Very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor, I know you push for time, so we always want our students from District 75 to be heard. So I'm going to ask Ms. Green to introduce our student member, and she will have the final question with you. Ms. Green, introduce our student member, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Chancellor, for being here. Our student member is a Brooklynite and from a Brooklyn school, and her name is Miss Lanaya Jennings. Lanaya. I know she's on.
If she's on by phone, she might have to press *6 to unmute.
Okay. Lanaya, press *6 to unmute if you can. Let me try reaching. Okay, she may be having technical difficulties, so I do apologize. Hopefully at some point before you go, she'll be able to come.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Lanaya. You're speaking to the Chancellor. Do you have a question for the Chancellor?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
Lanaya, anything you want to say about what you like about your school?
I do like my school, but I don't have anything to say at the moment.
That's okay. That's all right.
We're happy to
Very
hear your
good.
voice, Lanaya.
Okay.
Great. I'm actually running out of time, but I can take another question if there was one more from the body before I have to jump.
Yes.
Certainly can do that.
Yes, we're gonna give it to our busing chair, Amy. Go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear
Good
me?
evening. Yes.
Good evening. It's nice to see you again, and welcome to our council. My name is Amy Tsai. I am one of the council members that's been here for quite a amount of years. I'm also wearing many hats in parent leadership for more than a decade, and also a parent of 5 current
school students that you are under as our boss. And I just want to point out that we have a superintendent that's very well invested into our community right now. So I hope that you bring him back into your team this upcoming school year. So I appreciate that. And I do want to make sure that you do vocal on transportation issues, because our children really do need to better be served through school buses. So I wanted to touch on what the previous administrations have focused, which is too much power and less power for parents and students. I know that this is quite of a hot topic for both yourself and Eric Adams, our mayor, and our parent and student community. So I want to kind of touch on what our mayor accountability and control is. In the recent announcement that Governor Hochul has given us the 4 years extension of mayor control, which you are beside Mayor Adams in this administration. What is your vision for a school governance, particularly for District 75 community, to be a part of the table, the course, the dessert, to make sure that we are voices of the shared decision-making, of policy, instructions, services, and in true engagement? Like, we're talking about engaging with us to make sure that our community has a voice and not invisible, particularly for the special populations, making sure at all levels of parent leadership, from citywide, district, and parent associations and parent teacher associations, and making sure every student of the voice of their special needs is recognized. And how are you going to make sure that we can really be on board with you to make those decisions? And I just want to leave with making sure we hopefully do get one seat in the panel for educational policy. So I appreciate you sharing your vision and your goals for the next 4 years to make sure that we do have a shared governance. Thank you, Chancellor
I
Banks.
appreciate that. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate your question. I appreciate the spirit in which you asked the question. And you should just know that I'm going to be doing everything that I possibly can to work very closely with you, with this panel. We've got several, I think, PEP members who are on with us tonight as well. I have spent probably more time really talking to parent groups since in my 4 months than I have anything else, which is not something I necessarily thought before I got here that I would be doing. But I have been struck by the sense that parents all across the city felt unheard, disrespected, not really engaged in a real way. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and a lot of structures that I think are just not organized properly. So many parents to feel like disengaged. See, I'm not into power at all. This is not a power trip for me. And quite candidly, you know, the mayor asked me to be the chancellor. I had no desire to be the chancellor. So I want people to know when they're dealing with me, they're not dealing with somebody who is like desperate to be the chancellor. I'm here because I think I can help, and I think that I can do a body of work, but I can't do it unless I'm engaged with the community, with parents, with families, with elected officials and community leaders. So I don't even limit it to just parents, because I think that I've talked to almost every elected official around the city. I have a few more that I have to get to. I'm talking about congresspersons, state senators, state assembly persons, city council members. I spent a lot of time doing that because they are also community members. They're not necessarily parents, but they have just as deep an interest in what goes on in our schools as anybody else. And I'm respectful of that as well. And I'm hearing from them as well as they hear from other parents and families. So this is important to me. This is why it's one of my 4 pillars, which is to fully engage parents as true partners. It's one of the reasons why I'm thrilled that I asked, I have a couple of people on, our deputy chancellor's on, but I also have our executive director of our family and community engagement, Dr. Christina Melendez. And I'd like for you to just chat for a little bit here as well about, you know, just what we do, how we've been spending our time, how we've been engaging parents and families. There are lots of parent groups within the DOE, which is what part of the reason why I'm always, I mean, there's SLTs, there's PAs, there's district leadership teams, there's the CPACs, there's just like a whole lot of groups. And everybody feels like there's no parent engagement. So I'm saying, I don't understand, how do we have all these different organizations, and yet the larger narrative is that people feel like parents are not engaged. That means we're not doing something right, because it's not for lack of having all of these organizations, right? And so, one of the reasons why I said, we need to lean into, even in this superintendent selection process, the parent voice has to be front row and center in that. Who would be the superintendent for that district? It's very important that the families who are going to be part of that district, their child is going to be going to school in that district, should have a major say in what happens here. I believe that. I'm a dad who raised 4 kids. I grew up in Brooklyn and Queens. I'm a person of the community. When I was at the Eagle Academy, before I even came to become the chancellor, when I was the principal, I used to run all my parent meetings on Saturday mornings. Why? Because a Wednesday night at 7:00 parent meeting works really well for school personnel, not necessarily for parents. So I would have my meetings and I would get 25, 30 parents that showed up, because parents have a lot of other issues that they had to deal with. They couldn't necessarily always make it on a Wednesday, Thursday night, but the school wanted it to be that night because I'm already in school. I'm the principal, the teachers, I'm already there. It's easy for me to stick around a couple extra hours. I said, why don't we, if we really want to meet parents where they are, why don't we do it on Saturday morning? Well, Saturday morning means the teachers or staff have to, they now have to leave from wherever they live and come back to the school. People weren't so anxious to do that, but that's what I did at Eagle. And we would have standing room only. Joe Klein was the chancellor. Dennis Walcott came years later. He was the chancellor. Both of them came and visited my school and said, how are you doing this? Because we don't see this anywhere. Is there a concert that's happening? I said, no, this is a regular parent meeting. I would bring local colleges in. I would bring workplace vendors in, creating opportunities for parents and families, because I believed in that deeply. People would give me credit for things that we did. Most of them came from my parents and my families. They gave me the ideas and I just implemented them, and the students themselves. So I'm a person who believes deeply in listening and engaging and realizing, how do we co-create going forward? That's really who I am. It may not always play out that way, and people are sometimes going to be disappointed. The last PEP meeting, I had a whole host of parents lined up to say, basically, I was wrong on what we did with gifted and talented. But as I was having CEC meetings across the city, one after another, all of these parents in different parts of the city were telling me, we want gifted and talented. That's what I mean when I say there's no one singular voice that says this is what the parents think. Parents think lots of different things. I've got to listen and, on balance, try to make the best decisions possible. That's what I'm committed to. And Dr. Melendez, why don't you say a word just in terms of how we've been just really laying out the strategy for how we can engage parents?
Yes, thank you, Chancellor, and thank you, Council, for inviting us. I think that to your point about there are so many parent leadership structures and groups and councils, and yet folks still feel unheard and not part of the process. And so our chancellor has been very clear from the beginning that it is really important to engage families before we are releasing policy. And what does that mean? It really means a whole lot of meetings for you, really fast and furious lately. And we appreciate your participation. But it's hard to come in in January and try to do the rest of the school year and summer and next year all in one shot without all of those meetings. But central to that is, how do we get you to chime in and give feedback and provide supports and ideas and your own lived experiences into the new spaces that we are going to be creating or co-creating, right? And so some of these spaces have been digital learning and summer rising and career pathways and our GNT programs. We were able to engage and have conversations with you, hear from you, and really create changes within those programs moving forward that were really driven by your experiences and led by your voices. And I think that that's going to continue. And we hope that that will start to build a level of trust that we have lost with families. and really help us understand exactly what it is that we need to do in order to support our families and therefore our students. But other things that we're really thinking about doing long-term is also, really strengthening the district relationship, right? How do we get our parent leaders to really be in their districts, working with their superintendents, co-leading their districts? A lot of times we're all the way over here at Tweed and we're too far away from where the work happens. Education is local, and we need to make sure that you have everything you need to have a strong relationship with our superintendents, from hiring them to also working with them. We are also connecting with our CBOs and our advocacy groups because families go to them because they have trusting relationships with them. And we want to make sure that we are including them in the conversation because they also carry your voices. And then we have parents outside the leadership structures that sometimes it's hard to get to them. Sometimes it's hard to hear their voices because they have a lot of other things going on. So how do we get to them? How do we create a strategic multimodal approach to parenting that allows parents to participate, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, whether it's hybrid, whether it's via mail? We are thinking all things outside the box to get to every parent we can get, to include their voices in every piece of this work. And then how do we support our school leaders and our superintendents in really understanding what it means to authentically engage our families? That for far too long, it's sort of been, please stay out of here. And we're making sure that school leaders and district leaders really understand what that means and how that looks like and how to engage. And so those are some of the things that you will see very soon, led by FACE, but definitely by every one of our divisions that are at the DOE, who are also going to be engaging in these ways.
Thank you, Dr. Melinda. I appreciate you. And just know, everybody, that I'm standing here together with our team to be a real partner, to try to make the system as responsive as we possibly can. We're not always going to get it right on every single decision and on every single initiative. Hold our feet to the fire, but also be a good partner as well. Pledge to work together with us. I don't have an agenda here other than to just try to make things right. That's it. And whenever my time is up and doing the best that I can, I will be gone. But I'm here for now. I'm committed. I've had a long career. I've been a teacher. I've been a parent. I've been an assistant principal. I was a principal for 11 years. I led a reform organization for years. I think my body of experience has just prepared me to be in a position to render some real value to the system. And I think we can make the biggest change if we really have the right spirit in working together. That's why I very much appreciate this time with all of you tonight. I appreciate the spirit in which each one of you asked the questions that you asked, because it's a spirit that says, we're not here to play gotcha. We're not here to try to, play games. We want to work together. If you meet me there, trust me, I will meet you there as well. That's who I am. And so I want to thank you. I do have to run, but just know that I don't know if members of our team are going to still be on for a little while longer. But on behalf of you, for all of our children, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chancellor.
Thank you.
Chancellor Banks, hopefully this is the first of many.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daly Banks. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor
Thank you.
Banks.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to your staff as well. And I did put in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, and I mentioned at the start that this wasn't going to be an open forum. The chancellor is just here to introduce himself. Like I said, it's the first time he's meeting our council as chancellor. So just look at this as the first, as a foot in the door. Mr. Lawrence had mentioned our email address, and I know the chancellor had just locked off, but those other members of DOE, Superintendent and Ms. Fody, if you could, because there's members of our council that didn't get a chance to ask a question, and also we'll probably field in questions from the public. So we'll put that all together and give it to you, Superintendent and Ms. Fody, and then if you could just pass that on to the chancellor, and we'll do our best to follow up. Because Mr.
Mr.
Chancellor's on a
Spencer.
roll. We don't want that. We got to let the record play. So thank
And
you so much.
Job well done, Mr. Spencer and Mr. Lawrence and all. And we will certainly pass those along.
Thank you, Ms. Fody. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank you, Superintendent.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Well,
Ms.
well.
Melendez. Thank you, everybody. All right. So, Mr. Lawrence, you're gonna thank you, Ms. Quintana. Thank you. Mr. Lawrence, you want to take this, or am I taking it?
Go ahead, kick it off.
Okay. Right. So yeah, our members of the public, like I said, it's still a business meeting. It's not open for public comment, but D75 council at schools.nyc.gov. All your questions, we will field them and pass them up as best we can. So first part of the next part of the agenda is unfinished business, and that will have to do with our minutes. So our fabulous AA and Secretary Ms. Montafon from Staten Island had passed on the minutes earlier this week. Chrissy M, you have that? You want to just so Mr. Lawrence, we need to probably just go over how this is going to mention, right? So we're doing what was accomplished at these meetings. It's not we're not reading word for word what happened. It's just who was there, when did it start, what are the major things, and then we'll take a consensus to adopt it. So just so you guys know how we're moving with the minutes going forward. So Christy M, I want to give it over to you.
Okay.
You good?
Yes, I have the March 2nd business meeting minutes. Is that which one we're going to start with? If that's okay.
I'm on mute. You want me to share the screen, or you share the screen?
I can't share the screen if you can.
Okay.
I'm not a host.
All right. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Go ahead, Christy.
So these are the March 2nd business meeting minutes, which was held over Zoom. The attendees were Shamel Lawrence, co-president present, Craig Spencer, co-president present, Amy Ming Tsai, council member present, Christy Angel, council member present, Angel Morales, council member present, Aisha Husbands, council member excused, Christy Montavon, recording secretary present, Celia Green, vice president present, Joanne Jones, council member present, Constance Asiadu, public advocate appointee present, Patricia Jewett, public advocate appointee present, and Lanaya Jennings, student member present. Okay. And I'm just scrolling down to our actions during the meeting. Just bear with me as I scroll. Okay, we had a motion to approve our February 9th business meeting minutes pending necessary corrections. Motion made by Christy Angel and seconded by Celia Green, and the motion passed with 10 votes. We also had a motion to excuse the absence of council member Aisha Husbands for the special and business meeting on March 2nd. Note, Ms. Tsai was not present during the vote and returned to the meeting later. The motion was made by Christy Angel and seconded by Patricia Jewett and passed with 9 votes. And we also had a motion to approve the February 9th calendar meeting minutes pending necessary corrections. The motion was made by Patricia Jewett and seconded by Amy Tsai, and we had 10 votes for yes.
Okay, thanks, Christiane. So those were the minutes for our March 2nd meeting. Council members, are there anything that you see omitted? Does everything, any questions? Let me take a look at the hands. Going once. I don't see any hands. Going twice. Mr. Lawrence, you see any hands?
No hand, we good.
Okay. So can I get, so we're gonna move to adopt these minutes. Any objections? Any abstain? Going once, going twice. All right, so with no objections and no abstentions, these minutes from March 2nd, 2022 business meeting is adopted with any necessary grammar or spelling corrections. So we'll look to post that as soon as possible. Okay, thank you, council members. So we're going to move on to the next meeting minutes that's available, which is the 16th. Our calendar meeting is 16th of March. Christiane, you're going to pull that up. I'm going to look for mine. And bear with us for a moment as I pull this up. Okay, my screen. One moment, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Okay. All right, Christiane, go ahead.
Okay, these are the March 16th, 2022 calendar meeting minutes, which was held on the Zoom platform. For attendees, we have Amy Mengsai, council member present, Angel Morales, council member present, Aisha Husbands, council member present, Shamel Lawrence, council member present, co-president present, Craig E. Spencer, co-president present, Celia Green, vice president present, Christy Montavon, recording secretary present, Christy Angel, treasurer present, Joanne Jones, council member present, Constance Asiadu, public advocate appointee present, Patricia Jewett, public advocate appointee present, and Lanaya Jennings, student member present. Scrolling down to the actions for our meeting. Okay. Our first action was the approval of meeting minutes to approve March 2nd, 2022 special meeting minutes, pending with all necessary corrections as needed, made by Constance Asiadu and seconded by Celia Green, and passed with 11 votes for yes. Our next action was to schedule face check-ins with the council members once a month on the second Tuesday of each month from 6 to 7 p.m. This motion was made by Christy Angel and seconded by Patricia Jewett and passed with 11 votes for yes. Our next motion was made to have the parameters of our annual report be presented at the April 13th joint business and calendar meeting, made by Amy Mengsai and seconded by Celia Green and passed with 11 votes for yes. Our next motion was made to have a parliamentary procedure workshop on April 26th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. with virtual presenter Robert Robinson. This motion was made by Amy Mengsai and seconded by Aisha Husbands and passed with 11 votes for yes. Our next motion was made to vote on having the outreach committee complete a report on how the council followed up on parent leads from the January 29th Include NYC event for our April 13th meeting. This motion was made by Amy Mengsai and seconded by Celia Green and passed with 11 votes for yes. A motion was called to have Citywide Council for District 75 collaborate with the Special Olympics and the outreach committee chair, Christy Angel, to present parameters for the collaboration at our April 13th joint meeting. Mrs. Asiadu clarified the motion as follows. The motion is that the City Council for District 75 collaborate with the Special Olympics, and we leave it. Ms. Angel, being head of outreach community, will look into exactly how extensive the collaboration will be and will make future presentations specifically to the council at the next calendar meeting in April 13th, joint business and council meeting concerning it. The motion was clarified by Mrs. Siadu and was passed and seconded by Celia Green and passed with 11 votes for yes. The next motion was made by Amy Meng Tsai to draft a resolution regarding governance for mayoral control that is separate from what the members of Citywide Council for District 75 signed off on. The motion was made by Celia Green and seconded by Christy Angel and passed with 11 votes for yes. The next motion was made by Amy Meng Tsai for this item, the resolution for mayoral control, to be placed on the next business and calendar meeting agenda for April 13th, 2022. Mr. Spencer made the motion and Celia Green seconded it. There were 10 votes for yes and 1 abstention. The next motion was made to have our agendas planned out during our business meeting as part of the bylaws. Note, Celia Green added to the motion the following. We discussed the items and the agenda for our calendar meeting at our business meeting. The motion was made by Christy Angel and seconded by Amy Meng Tsai and passed with 11 votes for yes. The next motion was to table 2 items on the agenda until the April 13th meeting. Those items were committee procedures discussion and proposed theme for end of year event. This motion was made by Christy Angel and seconded by Amy Meng Tsai. And the last motion was called to postpone voting on the letter regarding healthy school meals until the end of the meeting. This motion was made by Amy Meng Tsai and seconded by Constance Asiadu and passed with 11 votes for yes.
Thank you, Christy. Appreciate that. Okay, council members. So you see the minutes from our March 16th calendar meeting. Any debate, any questions, any concerns? Let me take a look. Raise your hands, please, to be recognized. Any questions or concerns? I see no hands. Going once. Going twice. Mr. Lawrence, you see any hands? I don't see any hands.
Nah, we good.
Okay, so let it be known that the March 16th, 2022 calendar meeting minutes are now approved officially with any spelling or grammar errors. They turned from draft to now being approved, and they'll go up on our website as soon as that's rectified. Thank you so much, council members. Appreciate that. Thank you, Christy M. Thank you, Ramon, for that. So March 13th, April 13th, our last meeting was pretty big. So we're still working on a minute. So hopefully we will get that by our calendar meeting 2 weeks from today on the 18th. All right. So that is that. So we're going to go on next on our agenda. First off, something I did forget. We didn't appoint a timekeeper. Joanne, do you, I didn't have that on the record. Sorry about that.
She was appointed. She was appointed.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she
Appreciate
accepted. Mhm.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Joanne. All right. So the next item on the agenda for unfinished business is the validity of the codes of conduct from the bylaws that was signed on August 27, 2021. This part of the agenda was discussed on our last meeting on the 13th, that this would be part of this meeting's agenda. So there's a time on this of 15 minutes, and that's starting now. Joanne, thank you. So council members, I would ask for you to refer to the email that Ramona sent all of us regarding with the documents needed for tonight's meeting. Email was sent 4:11 p.m. today. I am going to share my screen. Mr. Lawrence, did you because I believe that's I know on our last meeting you had stated you and our former secretary Griselle Cardona had signed this. Did you want to take the lead in terms of this discussion?
No, I said at the last meeting, anybody who needed the transcript, reach out to me. I haven't got no requests for it. Those who did request it, they got it. So it was part of it. So that's pretty much where it stands with that.
Okay. I don't think, oh, okay. So I think the wrong ones were, okay. All right, there we go. I know these were signed. All right, so council members, did you folks get a chance to, I mean, we've been discussing, this has been on the agenda since last month. Did you get a chance to review the codes of conduct? Is this something that we can search for a motion to move on this this evening? Is there a motion to is there a motion out there? Can I get a motion to adopt the code of conducts that's listed in the August 17th, 2021 signed bylaws? Make sure that we're abiding by them. Is there a motion out there for that? And, I'm sharing my screen, so I don't see any hands. Mr. Lawrence, do you see any hands?
Yes, I recognize Councilmember Amy and then Councilmember Miss Angel. So Amy, go ahead.
I have a question. These are we did not discuss any code of conducts or add any amendments to this bylaw in this section of code of conduct, correct? Because I believe these are the same ones that are in the bylaws of signed, which was dated August 17th of 2020, not last year in the beginning of this term. And so my question is are we just adopting this for this term since it's already there? There was nothing added or changed. I'm confused. Sorry, I'm asking the question.
The way I understand it, Mr. Lawrence, and thank you for your question, Amy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lawrence. So there was a concern in terms of the validity of what was signed in 2021, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I know I have that here someplace. And pardon me, I'm going to turn off my camera while I take a look. So it was a question in reference to number one, the validity of those bylaws, and number two, the code of conduct, which we were looking to augment, we were looking to add to, but we wanted to make sure that they are established and recognized first by the council. So that's the way I understood it, and I'm trying to answer your question in terms of where we're at this point. Mr. Lawrence, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I get that right? Did I assess that correctly?
That sounds about correct. Yeah.
So Amy, that's where we're at this point. Just to make sure that we as a council could recognize that, and then we can act on whatever changes that we see fit. I need to take a look.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going to recognize Councilmember Miss Angel and then Constant.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. I have a question. I'm a little bit confused in the space of we received the bylaws that were signed that we're discussing currently right now. We received those in July. So that's what we are beholden to currently right now. So we do not have to vote on that or discuss that technically. However, if you guys made some amendments that, as I saw from the notes from the August 17th special meeting, nothing according to changes were listed in the motions for that minutes. So there's no changes that you guys, I know at the beginning in August, I believe, we were handed out something where they wanted to make amendments. So there are no amendments that have been put in yet. So there's something that we need to be discussing in that realm, but I think that that's something that should go to the bylaws committee and then comes back to us for recommendation versus us trying to, figure out the nuances in the meeting per se.
And thank you, Christy. I just want to say that's exactly what we have been setting, but what was told to members of the council that there was no bylaws, and we had to get clarifications that these were signed. And what happened was at the beginning, they turned it over to the bylaw chair, Ms. Constant, to review, to amend to these things. So that's exactly what we was doing. So we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because some people were saying they didn't know it's bylaws, and some saying, they did. And even Ms. Jewett, we said refer to, the transcript, and, some reached out for it. And like I said, it's in the transcript what happened. But these was approved with that code of conduct in there. Constant.
Yeah, I just want to go to the question. The bylaws were approved in August. I was present at the meeting. We did vote on them. However, we voted not to put in that code of conduct, and I still contend that we did not vote that code of conduct portion in at that time. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the transcript and find out where it is, because my transcript was incomplete. I went back to it and it didn't have the full meeting in it. So my understanding, we adopted bylaws, but it was minus the code of conduct. There was a specific vote on it. And if we go back to, I had a conversation with Ms. Cardona, and that was also her understanding. That's what I was told. That portion was not adopted by us when we made the vote. Okay, so if there's clarification of this section, I'd like to see it.
Yes, and like I said, I'd be more happy whenever you're ready. You can request a copy of it. And
I'll request another copy.
Request another copy. But when we did do the adoption on that day, we did adopt, because we had a follow-up meeting with Ms. Agard the following week, according to my notes here. And we was trying to figure out if we amended, and she said her clear words was, once you approve the bylaws, whatever's in that bylaws, you don't have to approve separately. So whatever was attached to it and we signed, that's in there, that was accepted. It was approved. That's what she came back. And this is something that came back from a few emails. But I'll give you a copy of the transcript too. And I gotta see, I don't know how we would get from that meeting, but there's emails around it between us and Miss Agars. So I don't know how would we get that from her. I'm going to take I see Christy Angel Hain again.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify really quickly. I was saying, as a new member of the council, what you're showing, the signed document, is what was distributed to us. Under the file share folder on our website, it does have the notes from the special meeting from August 17th that you guys are referring to. And what I was saying is, under the motions that you guys had with the corrections and what you were adding specifically, there is no motion for the code of conduct. And it does have to be specifically withdraw there. You do have to make a motion for that. It's not just a blanketed everything that's in there that you receive. That's not protocol.
Okay, so we'll take it back to Face, because Face was there, and we'll get some stuff from Face, and we'll have further conversation with it. Because the person that was our liaison at that time is no longer with DOE. So I would say it's probably best just to get the transcript again and see if we could get that recording also, and follow up with them, or just adopt the thing into it, whatever choose to do. I mean, it's on the council. I take one more hang. I see Constant.
I just wanted to say, I will be coming for the transcript in person, and I do have dates for the bylaws meeting, so I'll announce them later. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other? That's it on this subject. Mr. Spencer, Miss Angel, was your hand up again for another question, or
I forgot to lower. Apologies.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any other question?
So what we got to do is go back and get this transcript, and that's where we're at.
Well, if she's saying she's gonna have a meeting, we could do that, but we need to adopt these things in sooner than later. I mean, if
Right.
they want to do it separate, let's do it separate. I mean, put it in the bylaw, and hopefully they have the meeting sooner than later, and we could just get it in, and therefore it could be officially part of this. But we could also work on that behind the scene and get that information from Face and see it get access to those recordings. Because I have the transcript. That's no problem. We
So
just need
can,
Miss Agar stuff.
right. So can we get them, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lawrence, can we get a motion maybe to send this to the committee, to the bylaws committee, to iron this out, so we won't have to keep putting this on the agenda until, because it sounds like it's still work that needs to be done.
Yeah, she says she's going to announce it. So yeah, so I mean, just send it over to him. Yeah.
Okay. So council members, just refer, what I pulled up was the actual signed bylaws was emailed to us on April 13th, right before the meeting. If anyone doesn't have it, please let me know so I can forward it. And that's the document that I'm referring, that this item on the agenda is referring to. And so we'll work with Constance in our bylaw committee, get the information from Face. And I guess once the bylaw committee has gotten that all taken care of, then we can put this up to a vote. That's how I see it, Mr. Lawrence. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. So that is that on any other hands up. We're gonna move on. There's no other hands up. We're gonna move on. Anything? Going once, going twice. All right, so we're gonna keep it moving. So the next item on the agenda was updates.
You freeze, Mr. Spencer. All right, I think he's froze. So the next thing on the agenda is
we took off things.
You froze. We just not hearing you again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we took off things from the we adopted the agenda with just this here. So the only thing left to talk about is Amy's efforts with the OPT meeting about a month ago. Amy, just if you give about 5 minutes or so. I know there was some questions that you were looking to tally again. Answer. Can you you have any other additional information you want to give? And I know, why don't you take this opportunity to also let the folks know about PIST, the demonstration that they're going to have on the 15th of May, since our next council meeting is the 18th. Thank you for giving us that information. So go ahead, Amy. Floor is yours. About 5 minutes. All right.
Sure. So there's not really much to really update other than that the survey that went out to families in regards to what they have experienced this year with the bus service, the bus company, what are the things that they look forward to making changes. Again, what are the experiences that they have that they want to pose questions. So we're actually keeping the survey open and reaching out through all the entities that we have through district office and advocacy groups, and so social media as well, just to continue gathering the information and data as we continue to work this into the next school year. Obviously, we also want to make sure that we're getting the feedback from families through the summer. Since we are a 12-month program, many of our students use the school bus for the 12-month program, Chapter 683. So we definitely want to know how the experience is through the summer with the air conditionings on the bus and the bus's condition, and how that go through summer rising if the school site does have one. But then just in general. And then we've also asked our partner organization, PIST, to support in outreaching with the survey as well. PIS is doing a rally. I just need to pull it up. They will be doing one on Sunday, March, I'm sorry,
May
May,
15th.
correct, May 15th at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Students, caregivers, unions, elected officials, and educators will be coming out for the school bus bill of rights, and they will be at 14th Street Union Square, which is by the subway station 456L and Q and R. And they just want us to come out and support what it means about their services that they received and how we can continue to fight. They had one last month over the Brooklyn Bridge, and so they continue to build the advocacy around what it means for students in New York City with the service. I know they have a few other initiatives. Their committee is working on, all sorts of ideas and planning, and they're also encouraging those that are interested in being part of the committee to reach out to them. And also we are actually starting to kind of brainstorm on a committee working with Nice Bus, the CEO, Matt Berlin, that was in our committee meeting last month, who came to present and share out on Nice Bus. So they want to be our partners in the work of bettering our system of transportation. So we are kind of brainstorming and gathering those families and advocates. Other than that, I know that some of the participants during that meeting wanted to kind of debrief, just because there's so many meetings happening just right before a break and then now coming back to break. I couldn't really fit in with a lot of the things that the district is doing. So hopefully we will get a date to just kind of debrief and next steps for, the committee, and then for the council to continue the work on student transportation. That's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. That's great news. The Nice Bus partnership. Looking forward to seeing how that materializes. Let me just pause a moment. See if anybody from the council has any questions, because there's something I want to. It's kind of old. Christy Angel, I recognize your hand. Yeah, raise your hand if you have.
I just wanted to jump in really quickly. I noticed on the shared agenda, we did take off the 2 items, but accidentally 3 came off, the annual report update and a couple of other items, but I definitely don't want our meeting to go long. So if everybody's willing for me to give my updates via email, I don't mind shooting the council those things so that we can save time.
Thank you, Christy. I did have the annual report. Because let me circle back to that. So Joanna, I'm just going to add 5 minutes to this because I made a mistake and deleted the annual report part of the agenda. My apologies, folks. So let me just tie this up. Well, you know what? I'm going to mention that in new business. I'm not going to mention that now due to time. So. Is there anyone else that's wanted to comment on this busing situation? Busing, what the busing committee is doing? Going once. Amy, go ahead. I see your hand. Or was that from before?
No, I just wanted to add that I know that we had a council internal meeting with members of the Department of Summer Youth for Summer Rising last week, and I did raise about transportation access, and they said that they're gonna make sure that the sites that have Summer Rising they're going to try to provide school buses to the program, but they cannot confirm with transportation going home in the evening. But because, you know, they're trying to get back, making sure that all buses are running for Chapter 63, so they're slowly coming back, and they won't give us a confirmation until they really have things settled with Summer Rising. So I just want to let the council know, and I know those that didn't attend are aware of our conversation about transportation.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Yeah, well, I was gonna mention that in new business, but since you open it up a little bit, I know Christy M, our secretary, wasn't able to make that meeting. And the meeting that we had was last week, and it was like a half hour. But Christina Foti and the superintendent, they want to know our questions, our concerns, because transportation is a major issue, especially if you're getting your kids into these summer programs and the seats are there's no waiting, and the seats are dried up, and your kid has to go across the borough or into another borough. So what I was going to state is just Amy and Christy, if you ladies we could talk about this offline, just because we do need a follow-up in reference with Ms. Foti and Superintendent's office for those particular issues, the transportation and the availability. Also the remote option, Amy, which you mentioned at that meeting. Thank you. So we can talk offline, and maybe by the calendar meeting on the 18th, ladies, if we could. And then also we need to outreach, and reach as many parents as possible to see what their concerns are for summer. So thank you for bringing that up. Just for not only our council members, but for our constituents that are listening. We do hear you in reference to summer. We don't take it for granted. We want to hold people accountable, like Chancellor Banks said. But let's, if there's nothing else, I want to leave 5 minutes for Celia to brief the council and our constituents on our annual report. We're gonna, Amy, that's it, right? You're gonna put your hand down, you're good?
My hand's down.
Okay, thank you. All right, so at this time, we're just gonna go to Celia. Celia, that was part of the agenda that I mistakenly deleted, but I put back just to have 5 minutes to talk about the progress with the annual report. So can you go ahead and take that opportunity to do so now, please? Thank you.
No problem.
Now.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Okay, our writer is Dr. Burton. And we're really happy to have her. And she's already at work on our annual report, and she's writing away. Anyway, our survey is out, and we've been getting it out to the parents. We're hoping that we can have all the information from the surveys returned by May 13th. And we have been trying to get data from various places, including the district and central, and we're still working on several items to that effect, so that it makes it easier for the writer to put these things into the annual report itself. And that's it right now. That is it right now, for now. But it has been working on, and she's been doing a lot, and we're hoping to be able to see a rough draft soon.
Okay.
And we should be meeting, we'll also be meeting again, because we have to meet before, probably once or twice more before the end.
Okay. Have any idea what, so it's the annual report committee. You have any idea, time frame?
I do not have the dates yet, probably once in May and one in June before our meeting in June. Before our calendar meeting in June.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you for that update, Celia.
You're
Council member, any questions regarding that? I think Celia and Ramona had sent out, there's some emails in reference to contributions to the annual report. I know after this meeting, I'm gonna have to start working on my contribution. Anybody have any questions? Raise your hands, please. Any questions, concerns? What
And Ms.
Celia had?
I just wanted to add, thank you to Council Member Angel, Christy Angel, for doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this project. So thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Anything else? Any questions, concerns, going once? Going twice? I don't see any hands. All righty, so we're gonna move on. Any other unfinished business, ladies and gentlemen of the council? Anything that that I overlooked or Mr. Lawrence overlooked? Anything you need to bring to our attention? Going once, going twice. I see no hands. All right, so we're going to move into new business. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, let me just share the screen so that way I can let folks know where we're at. Where we're at here, let's minimize that. There we go. So yeah, so we're done with the everything here, unfinished business and all that. So we're up to the new business. Let's get that scroll down. All right. Right. So first item on the new business agenda was the debriefing on summer instruction that Amy mentioned and I mentioned in unfinished business. Christy M., do you want to comment a little bit on what you had, the letter that you had emailed in advance of this meeting since you couldn't attend, and that way our constituents knows, how much we care about this particular subject? You want to?
Sure. So, I had sent an email because I couldn't attend. And, my biggest concern was that I'm a parent too myself. So I had a horrible time with trying to navigate the enrollment process myself. Even with all of my knowledge and everything, it was really not a good experience for me. So I can only imagine how many other parents, were just like me and kind of just had a horrible experience with it. So I really wanted to lift that up, to the special education office. And some of the issues that I think being the most biggest one was that within minutes, many of these sites just filled up and there was nothing available. So there just aren't enough seats, especially on the borough of Staten Island. That was the only borough I was able to look at. But I would definitely like to hear from, our constituents in other boroughs, as well as council members, to see what the seats are like in the other boroughs, because it just doesn't seem like there is enough seats as a whole. And then the other issue that I find myself in, and I think a lot of District 75 parents will be in as well, is if you have more than one student, and if they are automatically assigned to a site because they're in extended school year or, some sort of 12-month program, there is no way for our schools to change those automatic assignments. And there's no way to kind of link up siblings, which is a huge problem, especially when we have transportation as kind of a question mark and we don't know if transportation will be provided, if we have students going all over boroughs, far distances, not near their homes. And if parents have to rely on transporting their children themselves, then, it can be a huge issue if you have more than one child and they're not at the same site. So that's another issue as well. And then, some of the issues that we still, are question marks for us that we had last year is the preparedness of these summarizing sites and staff to handle the diverse needs of our special needs students and population, and the supports that they need to be able to participate and take advantage of these programs if these CBOs and other organizations are going to be equipped to, allow our children to participate. So those are some of the issues that I really wanted to raise up. And I would definitely like to maybe work with our outreach committee and kind of get some sort of survey put together that we can distribute out to our families, just to kind of get a feel for what everybody is experiencing. And this way we can elevate all of those issues to the right people.
Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely lovely. Yeah, that's the next step, because like I said, there was a half-hour meeting and that went into 45 minutes, and we definitely need more time. Thank you, Christy M. Yeah, that was, we also had to share that meeting with CCSE. No disrespect to them, but it's just, you gotta put your foot in the door and you try to make a point. Christy, I know you wear a lot of hats. I haven't seen you in months, but your shoulders are probably bulky like The Rock. Can you work informally with Christy M and Amy, on the side, and then at a meeting in 2 weeks, at our calendar meeting, just give us an update. I know you're not. I was hoping you can, Christy, Angel, could you comment? Are you good with that, or?
Could you express the specifics that you would need? Because my capacity is stretched pretty thin. I do want to be helpful, but I don't want to lie about how much capacity I do have. So I definitely can try to help out in the regard that Christy and Amy need in some kind of way. I can definitely show up. I just don't know how much I can do, but I can do as much as I can.
Specifically, Christy, can you help me make a Google form that we can distribute?
Oh, girl, yes, absolutely.
I send you the questions and stuff, because
absolutely, I can turn it around for you very quickly. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. And then, so Christy M, you want to take the lead, and then just, let's see how it goes. We'll follow up in 2 weeks, and if we gotta vote on something, whatever. But it's a fact finding, and then thank you, Christy, Angel, and ladies. I mean, you ladies are out there, so you whatever you work, you let us. We're here at the meeting to let people know what it is. So we'll follow up in 2 weeks. Thank you. Anybody on the council members, any questions? Angel, you've been quiet, man. I'm picking on you. You all right out there, man? Patricia, you good? You guys got any comments? I'm looking at it for hands. Anything?
I'm good, Mr. Spencer. Just want to continue with the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. All right, so we definitely want to put this on the agenda for the 18th, because we want a follow-up meeting regarding summer instruction and to see where they're at, and then we can let them know where we're coming from. Amy, I recognize your hand.
I just want to express to Christy that it's also in the Bronx as well, that I'm actually in a neighborhood that doesn't actually even have a seat. So I sympathize with you, Christy, and if anything I can support, I'm here. Thank you.
All righty. Okay, folks, anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, moving on to the next new business. So I recognize Safety Chair Aisha Husbands and her effort to follow up with DOE Security Chair Mark Rampersant from our April 13th meeting regarding the unfortunate shooting in Brooklyn, as well as other initiatives. So Aisha, thank you so much for the efforts and the concern and the action. Can you let our constituents know how far along you've gotten, and so they know and see what you'd like to bring to the council at this time, or maybe at a later time, what you plan? Go right ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I spoke to Mary Mason, via email. Unfortunately, she's not available until October. However, we're moving forward. The safety committee, we're moving forward, reaching out to NYPD and FDNY to set up workshops in the coming month regarding safety at home and safety in the community. Then in October, when Mary Mason has availability, we will do a workshop regarding safety in the schools.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds great. Any other, I know you had a nutrition effort as well.
Yes, with the nutrition, we have completed that portion. It will be a Saturday. And hopefully the parents can have their children log on as well, because it will be a workshop. Because in terms of safety, is mind, body, and soul, and we're focusing on the body at that time. So we're going to have a workshop within the next month, either the end of May or the beginning of June, focused on nutrition.
Okay. All righty.
Miss Husband, this I would say reach out to Sasha and Jackie at the district. They have some kind of series set up for nutrition, and they running for the next couple weeks. So reach out to them so you won't crash with what they are doing already.
Okay, I did. I didn't really. I just got the name of them, and my school, or my daughter's school, also works with that vendor. However, I'll reach out to them again and see.
Yeah, reach out to Jackie and them. Yeah, you don't want to crash.
No, I didn't reach out to Jackie, but I'll reach out to Jackie. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, they
Lawrence.
have some workshop going on. Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Great news, Aisha. Thank you so much for those efforts. I got something else I want to add, but maybe I could take the lead on that. But first off, before I go there, just want to see if any of the council members have any other comments, something they want to add to Aisha's efforts. Checking the hands, going once, going
Good. You have no
twice.
hands.
All righty. Okay, so next part of the agenda is two things that I'm want to bring to the council's attention. So I was on PEP last. I don't know if there's anyone here that's still left that's on the PEP, but regarding K369 and making sure that their safety concerns were uplifted because of Success Academy's expansion at K033. And Celia, I recognize your hand. Let me, did you want to make a comment first before I finish my thought?
Just wanted to let you know it's actually 368. It's at 33 because I was a part of both schools, but it's 368. Okay.
Sorry, got the number
No, it's
mixed up.
fine. It's fine. No problem.
Thanks. So, and that's efforts for later. But what was concerning to me was the testimony, the general testimony by PTs and OTs, and how much the pay differential, how low the pay differential is compared to gen ed teachers. I just want to uplift. I just want to bring it to the council's attention. I want it on the record that I hope I need this work. I need to be done. Our friends at CEC 15 has done some work in terms of advocacy for PTs and OTs for our kids. It's like oxygen, straight up. Like to get our kids to be more functional. And if PTs and OTs aren't satisfied and with what they're paying, you know, that's more stress. That's going to come back negatively on our kids. So I'm just using these couple of minutes to just bring this to the council's attention. Make sure that our constituents knows that I, as co-president, wants to put this and wants to take some sort of stand on this, whether individually or hopefully with the council. I know our friends at CEC 15, President Camille Castoretti has done some work. I need to go back to her and follow up on this. But if you could, I want to ask the council, just in their, interaction with the community. Find out, ask your PTs and OTs what their view is. Are they getting paid enough? Do they need this council to support them? Because it was PT at the OT, at the PT, at the OT, and it was heartbreaking. So I just want to lift that to the council, and I'll follow up with that. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to add to that? Once I have more information, I'll share that and ask for the council's blessing to support. But that's the gist on that particular topic of the agenda. Going once, going twice. Okay. So the next part of the agenda is parent training that Mr. Lawrence and I were on this past Saturday, the 30th, provided by district leadership in terms of team building with parent leaders, given by Mr. Joel Gluck. I forget the name of his organization off the top of my head. But he works with the district. He already has Sasha and Jacqueline, and he was interested in terms of what our not only our council, but what PAs and PTAs, President's Council does, and expanding. I told him myself I'd like to maybe work with the safety committee to see if we can maybe have a group of parents at a particular meeting per borough. Start something small, but maybe flesh that out come next school year. So I don't have the I don't know, Mr. Lawrence, if you have the documents, or I'll ask Sasha and Jacqueline to provide that so I can email the council. I don't know if council members, I don't know if this was given on last Wednesday and last Saturday. I don't know if anyone else besides Mr. Lawrence and I attended. But anyway, it was a wonderful workshop, breakout rooms in terms of the BART process, to breathe and to affect in terms of listening to what we have to do, Mr. Lawrence and I have to do as co-leaders of this council and in our communities. We have to listen and affect what people are telling us, make sure we understand that, and offer some constructive solutions to that. So I want to lift that up there. As soon as I can get that information, I'll share that to the council. Aisha, I'll share that with you and work with you offline in reference to what you'd like to do as safety committee chair, to see what your vision is. But I think it's worthwhile for our parents. It's something, like I said, we're here to leave the foundation. Everybody here is leave the foundation for how better we left it. Christy Angel was wonderful in terms of the governance and workshop that we had a week ago, and that played a part in terms of leaving, this body better than what we found it. So I'll pass it on. I just want to lift that up and let the council members know how wonderful that was, and provide more information later on when I have it more concrete, when I have more to give. So I just want to lift that up. Anybody have any questions on that? I appreciate your time in terms of letting me get that point across. Thank you very much. Going once, going twice. All right, so moving right along. Let me share my screen. So we're up to the part of the agenda where we're going to see what we're going to discuss in 2 weeks at our calendar meeting. And the only thing that we have so far is, if you guys can see my screen, right now, from our March 16th calendar meeting, we voted on and agreed to have someone from the Transition and College Access Center to be a speaker at our meeting 2 weeks from now. And as a backup, if that didn't work, than someone from Healing Centered Schools. So that's what we have on the agenda so far. I also propose to have a follow-up on the summer instruction and having that Google form that Christy Angel will provide for Christy Montalvan, and see where our parents are regarding their challenges, so we can get that to Ms. Fody and the superintendent.
Mr. Spencer, you got a council member with a hand, Ms. Angel. We recognize your
Go
hand.
ahead.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much. I did have a quick question. The items that you have listed on here, nothing is actually going to be on you're proposing that the speakers that are already going to be speaking on the 18th be a part of the agenda, or are you just saying that's a listed item and it's going to break down where we're using them in the agenda, or I'm a little bit confused?
It's just as you see it. That's what we. So.
Well, you said that we were having these speakers on the 18th and our meeting is on the 18th. So I guess I don't understand the context of how it's going on to the actual agenda.
No, what he said is there's a presentation there.
Yes.
It's supposed to be from a college access. If those people don't come, if Ms. Green not able to get them to come, then I think Amy is going to be the backup plan.
So it'll just be a line item that says presentation then?
Yeah, it's going to say presentation. It's going to say whoever we
Okay.
get. So Ms. Green will confirm with us maybe tonight or, in a couple of days and say, okay, she got her people, and then we'll pick them and their name. If not, we'll pick Amy and her name.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lawrence. So that's what we have, and like I said, and I mean, nothing was finalized. I'm just letting you all know what we have so far. I mean, we all come to a conclusion of what we want to do with this. So I'll stop sharing my screen. Well, what I wanted to do, what I was thinking of doing was typing in while I share my screen things that we want to add, so that way it's the visual. And Mr. Lawrence, if you could just recognize council members' hands and their suggestions, and then I'll add to that. So
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So yeah, let's do that.
Right. So Miss Angela, you have your hand up again, or that's
Yes,
from before?
It's again, if we could just, to keep mine succinct, we can put them under outreach committee updates. I do need to give us an update for the awards dinner, for the end of the year event, and then just to let everyone know what's solidified, which I can say now, our date for the conference is going to be May 21st, and the flyer will be going out shortly, and we'll have the different information with run the show, etc. But otherwise, in that outreach updates, and I'll just give you the end of the year.
Yeah, you just cover everything.
Okay, good. Yeah, 521 for the conference, and then the end of year, because we will need to vote on the location for 617 for the awards dinner, and then the amounts that will be going with it, etc.
Okay.
Hold on. So awards dinner.
And costs associated.
Location and costs. Oops. Costs. Everybody see my screen?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. And then so the end of the year celebration. This awards dinner, I think, was it was June 17th, right, Christy?
June 17th, Friday, June 17th. And then the end of the year would be the 25th.
6/25. And so we got to take a look at the location on.
Yes, we will. There are updates for that I'll be given on the 18th. Yes.
6/25 is a update on location.
Anybody else raise your hand? Anybody else have anything they want to add to the agenda? Please raise your hand.
So let me see. So what I did here was
Christy, is that your hand up again or from before?
instruction.
Yes.
Parent survey update. Miss, Miss so yeah, I'll just do that. That's good. Christy M, I just put that there on the agenda. Is that good? Does that summarize everything?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. What else do we have here? Aisha,
We'll
did
see no
you
more
have?
hands.
Okay, Aisha, did you want to need any updates on safety, or you just? Did I need to slot any specific time or no? So we got to do an annual report as well. All right, this is going into the next page, guys. Sorry about that.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if I can make this easier to read. So we probably need so outreach updates. We need an annual report. I think we need the annual report update, right? Amy, anything from your council? Anything from our council? Committee, anything for busing? Maybe the or you can give it, yeah, that's part of the general reports, I guess. Unless you have something specific you need to put up. So we're gonna do this here. This is how the sausage is made, folks. So we have to review the 413 minutes. Review. That's a whole council. What else do we got here? Celia, so do you have someone set up already for a speaker, the transition in college?
I'm just waiting for a reply. It should be any day now. Hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have it. Meaning hopefully by Friday. I'll have a distinct answer.
Green by 5, 6. Oops, spoke green wrong. Okay, great. Let's see. So summer instruction, annual report, outreach update, and then we'll also, we'll have general committee reports and borough per usual. Borough liaison and committee reports, joint committee chair. Of course, we'll have superintendent report. DCAO. I'm going to combine this a little bit here. Bring a little bit of new business. Might as well, since it's coming close to 8:40. So tomorrow afternoon, Mr. Lawrence and I will, along with the co-presidents of CCSC, will get an update regarding the C-37 process for District 75. We just got notified that on Monday. That's why we're not taking part of whatever the other councils were, the deadline that they had yesterday. So once we find out what that process is, process for District 75, well, for us specifically, we will share with the council no later than Friday at noon, the 6th, depending on what our schedules, but I want to make sure that is on the agenda. That's stemming from, so that's why it's not on this agenda here, because we're waiting for further updates. Superintendent's report. President's Council. All right. So, Ms. Lawrence, anything
No.
else?
This get from the members here, because we want to have this finalized by Monday and sent out to be shared. So we know the usual that goes there. So if membership have anything they want on there specific, this is the time for them to say now.
Celia, how many, so what we're gonna do is a 20-minute presentation, like 10-minute talk, 10-minute question and answer. Does that sound good?
Most people do like a 15-minute talk and maybe a 5 or 10-minute present Q&A. So a lot of times it's either a 15-minute period or a 20-minute, meaning including the Q&A.
So probably 25.
So if you give them like 20 minutes, it should be fine. It should cover everything.
So 20 minutes.
25 is fine. 25 is fine because people don't have questions anyway.
Minutes. So that'll be. Also, can you let the speaker know that the council will need to see that whatever deck in advance so they can have their questions ready?
Okay.
If that's possible.
I will ask.
Presentation.
All right, Mr. Spencer, see if any more questions before we could go to the next item.
I'm typing this up. Can you take a look at?
Okay, so do any other council member have any add-ons while he typed this up? So we can move on to the next item. We want to get you all out of here by 8:55. If early. All right, seeing no hands, Mr. Spencer, you could take the stream down and type that up. I will continue on with the meeting.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, council members. Appreciate it.
All right, so the next thing on the agenda is old business. Any more old business? Anybody have anything else they wish to add? Old business. Miss Angel, I see your hand. Is that up for now or that's up from previous? Okay, she put it down. Anybody else have any old business? All right, seeing no hands, hearing nothing, I guess there's no old business. Okay, announcement and good of and welfare. So anybody have anything that they wish to announce or any good news or anything?
Yes, I do. So April 29th, last Friday, Amy, Mr. Lawrence, and I were happy to attend 79M for D75 recognition of parent leaders, along with members of the President's Council, other PA, PTA presidents. So this, so if you see my screen, this is, take me off a gallery and you can see this is a presentation. This is a certificate that Amy and Mr. Lawrence received. So you guys should be, each council member should be able to get this. So I think Sasha is working on getting that getting that sent to you guys. We we gotta verify if Lanaya gets a piece of that. I'm not sure. We're gonna verify that. Also, I gotta look around for the award. Give me a sec.
Don't worry. Ms. Green, go ahead.
I can actually leave it for the end because it's not in direct relation to that. It's like just an announcement about something else.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead now.
All right.
'Cause-
Okay.
Mhm.
So I am also a CPAC rep, and CPAC has just restarted their special education committee. And CPAC committees are open to the general public. So it's just an FYI for anyone who's interested in joining the CPAC Special Education Committee. You do have to go to cpacnyc.com to sign up. But once you sign up, you will get the committee notifications. And there are at least 3 members of D75 on that committee. Myself, Ms. Asidu, and the President's Council President, Miss Andrea Daniels. So we are doing a series of presentations monthly. But we're not doing it. The committee is having people come in and do a series of presentations monthly. So if anyone is interested, we usually meet on Saturdays for the presentations, and we meet on a weekday for the meetings themselves. So.
Constant. Thank you. Constant, you have your hand up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I have 2 things. I want to ask a question. I was on a meeting with the Executive Director of School Foods, and he announced that they're outreaching to all the CECs and the Citywides to do a deep dive into what they offer the districts as far as them. And I want to know if the councils received that email for consideration for when they can attend our meetings and do a presentation.
Haven't received nothing as of today.
Haven't? Okay, I'll inform him. Also, I did want to say we had the meeting training.
You going in and out, Constant. You're muted. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand. It's muting me, machine. I just want to apologize. Apparently, this was sent out as a meeting, so other people were on the particular attended and were promptly removed without any explanation, and they were deeply hurt and embarrassed. And I just want to apologize to them on behalf of the council from being removed from something without there being some explanation and then blocked from re-entering. I don't want anyone to feel that their attendance is not worthy at our meetings and that we don't value all participants, all our community who come out to support us. But I got some complaints. These people were very upset. They were extremely embarrassed. They felt that if it was just a meeting or training for the council, it should have just been explained to them and they would have removed themselves. But apparently they were removed. I don't know how that occurred abruptly. And then they were blocked. And they're very upset concerning it. So I just don't want this to taint the this to be a representation. However it occurred, I just want to apologize for myself. Everyone else can do for myself that they felt slighted. That's all.
Yeah, Constant, there's some information. What meeting was this? Not tonight.
This is the meeting that Miss Angel arranged with Robert Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay.
And I just, as I said, I just give my sincere apologies. Everyone else, I can't speak for the council. To those who were offended in any way by us, and hope that they continue on me.
Thank you, Constant. You went out again, but was that all you had? That was it?
Yeah, that basically I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I recognize Councilmember Ms. Angel.
Thank you very much. I would like to echo what Constance's Councilmember Asidu did say, but I do want to bring some clarity to what she is speaking on. Our council did have a governance workshop that was not a meeting and no business was being conducted. So it was not under the open meeting laws, and it was not actually given out wide outside of the council. I believe that one of our members did share it. And that's why those extra people were able to come to the meeting accidentally, and it felt like it might have been a space where they were removed and etc. I will give the apologies in that regard, but it was something that was only sent to council members as a workshop.
Okay, we recognize last hand on this. Thank you. Constant.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it was not, this was not an apology based on whether the meeting was a governance training or whatever for anyone. It's just an apology for the removal without an explanation. That's what I'm explaining to the people. It has nothing to do with whether our meeting was open to the public. Just anyone being removed from anything without being notified. This is not a meeting for the public. Can you please come off the system? To be removed abruptly and then blocked without an explanation is just embarrassing. That's all I'm speaking on.
I do want to mention nobody was ever blocked from the meeting. If somebody was blocked, I did not do that portion. So I do want to speak for myself there.
I don't, Miss Angel, I'm not speaking to you. I don't know who did what. They did attempt to come back in and were not allowed in. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And Nami Constant, when somebody's blocked or removed, we get a report. I didn't see none come into the council email because I do believe we use the council Zoom. So apologize. I don't know what happened with that.
Right.
But we
And
would never
whoever
block
went over,
nobody.
they weren't allowed to come back in. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
Very
if it's a
strange.
blockage or just not. I think once you remove someone, explain to me, you cannot come back into a meeting.
Yeah. That sounds about correct. Yeah, but we apologize still. Ms. Joanne Jones, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to give an update. A few months back, you had appointed me to be a judge for the Disability Pride Visual Arts Contest.
Yes.
And I just received word on maybe like 2 days ago. They sent me a whole bunch of slides and information of all the participants. It's over 204 entries that were submitted from various students from kindergarten to high school. So I just want to shed some light on that. The theme is around the topic choice is nothing for us. It's all about nothing for us is against us. So I just wanted to, put some positivity in the air that I'm in the process of going through the slides and I should have my submission and my judging done by Friday. That's the deadline.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work, and let us know when that event is for that.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody?
Hey, Joanne, do you mind if I put that on the schedule as a talking point on
Sure.
18th?
No problem. So it's Disability Pride Visual Arts Contest. The theme is nothing about us without us. And that's of course, this year, 2022. I'm judging from, like I said, from kindergarten all the way to high school. And it's 204 entries.
Did you need help with that? Or are you good?
No, I'm good. They gave me a spreadsheet to put my entries. They're being judged by talent, overall creativity, and also, I think, originality.
Got it.
Yep.
Sound like you got Mr. Spencer, talk to her offline. We trying to get everybody out here on time. Okay, Ms. Green.
Thank you. I just wanted to announce that one of our D75 parents has restarted her swimming classes. So she's currently doing a pilot with one of the D75 schools in the Bronx. And it may be 176X, I'm not sure. But right now she currently has 7 students. She had one of our former council members, Mrs. Izquierdo, used to have an adaptive swimming class at the Bronx Y that was at Castle Hill. Yeah, Castle Hill. So like I said, they're restarting the adaptive swimming. I'm not sure if it's going to be at that Bronx Y or if it is going to be at 176X. I will get further information, but it's just good to have parents know that there is actually an adaptive swimming class that does, because they make you pay for adaptive swimming. It doesn't necessarily mean that the instructor knows how to teach adaptive swimming to children with special needs. So this particular council member, all right, it's a D75. Okay, so she told me it's a D75 program and it is within DOE. So any parents that are interested, especially in the Bronx, if you want to maybe have this program, see this program expand, because one of the things our students do need is swimming classes especially with children with autism and certain other disabilities. They absolutely love water, but water safety is number one. So a swimming class would help with that. And a truly adaptive swimming class and someone who knows how to teach adaptive swimming.
Right. Thank you. So I see a bunch of hangs up. I think these hangs are from before. So I guess that's it. From the good. You had another question? All
Yeah,
right, go ahead,
I
Council.
don't have a question. I wanted
Okay.
to add that the adaptive swimming is at the Bronx Y. It's not at the school, it's at the Bronx Y. Okay, so everyone's aware.
All right. So thank you all for that. I just want to give a shout out to Miss Joanne Jones and Christy Angel for helping behind the scene with this tonight. Even though everybody didn't get a chance to get their question asked, submitted to the chancellor, but we did. It's going to be sent over to somebody, and you all will be CC on it. And I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, the grandmas, and everybody. This is your weekend. Don't let nobody ruin it and disturb your peace. And with that being said, I ain't gonna ask Mr. Spencer if he got anything else to say. Just keep typing. We gonna say, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, so it was motion by Ms. Jewett, second by Amy. Any abstention? Any opposed? Any debate? Seeing none, hearing none. Happy Mother Days. Be safe. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Good night, bye. One thing. Superintendent, please. I was looking for you. That's under the good news. Please share about our student who got a scholarship today. I think you did already.
He already did. He did when he
Okay,
was talking,
perfect.
when he was pounding his chest for Chancellor Banks to hear.
Okay, so he shared it. So with that being said, everybody be well. If you want to say happy Mother's Day, Superintendent, please go ahead real quick before we.
Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you here. You know how much we appreciate your support, your leadership here. So as Co-President Lauren just said, this is your special day. It comes around once a year. We want to wish you the very best. Make sure nobody come in and steal any second of it. So happy Mother's Day to you. All the best.
Happy Mother's Day. We got you out of here before 9 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, everybody.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Stay safe.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Take
Happy
care.
Mother's Day, everybody.
Good Mother's Day.
Thank you.